John, when you submitted the invoices to the accountant, were you able to fill out vouchers for her, like these here?
I'm not sure whether we're doing those electronically or what.
Because we need to have those filled out when.
We're going back to that since Brian's been here with Tom, we haven't been filling those out. But we can go back to that if you have. And I think he has an electronic way of doing that.
Yeah, Nancy, I mean, if you can do it electronically, but you still need the signatures of the majority.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they're on here. That's
us. That's us, not them.
Oh, they have to, yeah.
No, and I'm, again, that was something that Brian worked out with Tom, and since Ann's been back, he wanted back the other way, and the way I understood it with Brian was that he was going to get that done electronically. He would be signing all of them electronically. But whichever way we have to do it, we have to do it.
Yeah.
Well, Nancy asked about having the vouchers done.
Yeah.
Because that's how we do it. So. Yeah,
and I know that Brian's been in contact with her about that. But if there's ever any question about any of that, you guys have my personal number. I'll get to the bottom.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. So next is approval of the Cdbg invoice number 6. We have that in our package.
Should have a copy there.
Probably. Yep. So this is from the grant money, invoice number 6 for $3,177.62. Just work that they've done for the housing and community development stuff. Is that the low-income housing fixes and?
Yeah.
Did they do work on a house with this, or is this?
They've been doing work on. They have, I think it's up to 5 houses now, maybe 6.
Down.
And they're doing the West Side infrastructure study as well.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the grant payment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We got to sign anything?
Yep.
We all got to sign.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next is approval of the highway fuel bid, which we just talked about. It does not contain a price adjustment clause. We lost $7,000 or so last year because gas prices went down and we didn't have a price adjustment clause on our fuel. So almost every department that put fuel in a tank lost money. So I'm not in favor of signing anything that doesn't contain a price adjustment clause at this point. What your thoughts on it are?
I agree with that.
Yep, they need to write it in there. We can't assume that they're gonna drop the price for us, because they didn't do it last year. So.
And they won't, because they're not obligated to, so.
Right.
Send that back to Highway, please.
I will.
He can rebid it or do whatever he has to do, but
Get that clause in there.
it's gonna
no matter what.
have that clause in there.
Mm-hmm.
Old business, recycle center revenue. So the town clerk sent us, the collector sent us a notice that the recycle center wasn't going to be sending out demand notices and interest and demand on unpaid permits from each year. So we did some looking into that, and you're right, but for the wrong reason. So let me tell you why. It's a user fee, and user fees can only be charged to people that actually use the governmental service. So if people don't use it, they don't have to pay. So we talked about, at our last meeting, doing the sticker thing for the user fee.
I think we should do this at a finance committee meeting. It's a pretty long, if you thought my talk about bailing was long, because I saw your last meeting with the finance committee on it, and you really need some history of this. And again, I'm not prepared to go into it, but I will if I have to tonight, but it won't be complete. And do you want me to go into it?
We don't need the history. I'm just
Right.
telling you what the
No.
law is, and
No, but I'm
you
gonna
cannot
tell
charge
you
it.
what the law is too. The law for the boards of health is to track people's waste in North Brookfield. And one of the ways that we do that, years ago, we had a dump, right? Where people didn't pay anything. They went and they burnt their trash at the dump. Then we started selling stickers. When I came on board 30 years ago, we realized that everybody was using everybody else's stickers. So we started, coming up with the current system of billing people. And it's a long process. We have to take all of the haulers in town who are registered. We have to legally register and know who they're managing waste from. And we have to know where the other people's waste is going. Somebody said at the last meeting that it's none of our business. Well, the state of Massachusetts thinks totally otherwise, that it is our business, because we end up with people burning trash and putting it in their, other neighbors' dumpsters, a number of things like that. We actually have people come and tell us that I want to be abated because I take my waste to work and put it in my boss's dumpster. And so we say, good, just give us a note from your, boss, and we'll be happy to abate it. Of course, they never get that note, because the boss doesn't want the trash going there. So that's another law that we're in. So we don't do it annually, send it out to everybody. The first thing we do every year annually is we try to get everybody off that has a legit contract with one of our legit haulers. Then we have to go with the assessor's office and deal with what has changed place. If it's a 2-family, it's a 3-family, and a lot of our problems end up with somebody saying, oh, it's not a 3-family. Well, that's what the assessors are giving us here. That's what we have to charge it. If you come in, we can look at abating this or whatever. Then we have to go back to the tax collector, back and forth between what has been 3 or 4 different databases over time. We've got one now that took us a lot of time to work on last year and get cleaned up. We feel it's the cleanest the list has ever been.
So let me ask you this then. If that's the case,
Yes.
then why aren't you sending out demand notice and interest charges and leaving $7,000 worth of revenue
Well,
out there?
it's my understanding that we are, that Brian has talked with Lisa, and that is going on, but I will be going back there tonight to make sure of that. And that's where, again, I hate to talk about something that I'm not that clear about, but I talked with Brian about this, and there was never any point that we said we're not doing demands, and it's my understanding that we are sending them out.
Well, we lost $6,000 or $7,200 in FY19 revenue because demands and interests were not sent out that year.
Yeah.
We lost $6,800 this year
Yeah.
for FY20 because
Well,
demands and interests weren't sent out.
Let's just be clear about this. When you say we lost this, nobody is getting a free ride at our facility. None of those people are going and using our facility. They don't have a sticker. Do we want to continually tighten up this list and know where people are putting their trash? Yes. Do we want to send it out to everybody in town every year? No, because the abatement issue becomes astronomical. But when we do every so often send it out to everybody, we find a lot of people signing up that didn't even know about us.
Yeah, well, I'm just telling you, Spencer was sued and lost on this very issue.
Yeah,
So it's very
and
recent.
I know it
and
very
it's
well.
true.
I've been in this business for 30 years, so I know exactly when that happened, and it was well after we had done that. And I know the law on it as well. And as long as we give people the right to opt out of it,
Mm-hmm.
it's legal to send that out, and we do that, and we abate them. And, so, again.
All right, it's not a problem till it's a problem. I
and-
made
and-
this point last,
yeah,
so when
and
you
I
get
have no
sued,
problems. If you
no
wanna
problem.
talk to, Gregor McGregor, talk to John DiGregorio, who does the trainings for the state on this. Somebody I've been in his trainings for close to 30 years.
Mhm.
And so I believe I know this because the state used me to go out and help towns set these up. Pay-as-you-throw programs, as a consultant, and as a runner of a nonprofit that helped most of the South Central recycling problems get started over the last 20-some years.
all right, well, you
So,
continue to do what you do when
Yeah,
the
and
town
again,
gets
and I have
sued.
no problems.
you
If
get
you
sued.
feel like you need to go to, town council for a reading on that, I respect that, but I would, go right to the person that does their solid waste stuff, and I can help you do that if you want.
Okay, Fitz?
Sir, there's a lot of information that just came through. Is it okay if I take a quick moment to, I guess, collect some of it to figure out where we stand with this?
I don't understand what,
So
we're not gonna stop the meeting.
there was
if that's what you-
$6,000 of lost revenue one year and $7,000 of lost revenue in another in a place where the system was happening and the opt-out was a thing. With the context of that, and with the context of this potential deep liability to the town that could happen through a lawsuit, doesn't it seem to be a better decision to incorporate the user fee in that case and mitigating those two primary factors of lost revenue and risk?
I would think so, but,
would
now
agree with you.
the Board of Health sets the user fee, because that's
Mhm.
a Board of Health issue. So the user fee itself, whatever they charge to use, is entirely on them. But it's, my interpretation of the law, and I
Yeah.
do it for a living, is,
Definitely.
the town of Spencer was sued on this issue, that, only users can be charged, so people can opt out. I'll pull the case to see
Yeah,
more,
and,
but.
and if you look at the case, it will say that was the first time they sent these bills out, so nobody had used it. In our case, people have been using this, and so it's a different case than the one in Spencer. And again, there's so many details, Dale, around this that I really wanna discuss with the finance board and all, and things like, it's really out of our hands, as you stated correctly in that meeting, that we set the fee, but the town has always told us to collect the fee through, the tax collector. And that's where we would prefer to have the majority of it go on, in order to help with some of the mitigating some of the abatements and late, things, especially in this past year regarding to the lateness of the, billing. We've accepted some of the, people come in, like I had somebody come in tonight, paying for a dump sticker for halfway through the year. And I accepted that and we'll run it through the, through Lisa. Because I didn't want this person to hang around, she was hot under the collar.
Yeah.
But, I would suggest that we do this at a finance board meeting with, all of the information.
All right, we'll set it up with them,
Yeah,
put it on.
Will that be open to the public?
Yes, they're all open to, all town meetings are open to the public.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
All right, anybody else got anything to say on that before we move on?
I'd love to take you down to
All right,
facility.
next is the yearly appointment list. So we have, all of our appointed town officials, and we have some openings, if anybody is interested in. Capital Improvement Planning has a vacancy for an at-large member, if anybody is interested in capital improvement. Let's see, what else we got? Town Beach Committee, we got 3 vacancies on that, nobody's on the Town Beach Committee, so.
Do you join the committee?
I'm sorry?
How do you join the committee?
There's a form that we have that you just fill it out and ask to be appointed to one of these committees. It comes into our administrative assistant and we invite you in and.
Brian's doing Town Beach committee, I'm sad that there's really no one on there.
Yeah, what we wanna do is consolidate all of the recreational uses into one big recreational committee. So the town park, the playground, the town beach, the rail trail, all of it into one committee that can oversee all of it, and then we don't have money in pieces out there, so.
Yeah.
But nobody seems interested in the consolidation thing. We can't, everybody has their interests, so we have people that are interested in the playground, but they're really not interested in doing the beach or the rail trail.
It's fine with the budget of one committee, but that's okay, we have one committee, but you're in charge of the playground, like, we have one committee,
Yeah.
that it means that, you know, you're dealing with the town, I mean, that's.
Well, you'd end up with 30 people all picking and choosing, well, this way, you have 3 for the town beach, you know what I mean? If you consolidated them all, you'd have, if you count them up, probably 30, 40 people maybe.
You'd make a new committee and you just put 3 or 5 people on it.
Well,
But can they take care of all these areas?
Well,
That's
3 to 5 people don't need to take care of the whole thing themselves, the whole idea is 3 to 5 people leading them and making sure that there's people in place to take care of everything, that we have volunteers for everything. We don't need 10 different managers overseeing one individual person for each individual person. We're a
Right.
small town. and
yeah,
we-
you just get a good chair and then each subcommittee, and then the chair just directs each subcommittee, and I think we'll be good. We just need people that are interested in doing that, so,
There she is.
there you go.
When's
There
the
you-
deadline?
You're it.
Huh?
When's the deadline?
There's no deadline, they're
Anytime.
open,
Oh,
so
oh,
you can
okay.
join at any time,
I
and,
used to be on the town beach committee, but at that time, it was part of the playground and recreation committee, which is an elected position. So I guess
Right.
things have changed.
no, it's, playground and recreation is still an elected committee.
Okay.
It-
We oversaw the town beach at that time.
Yeah, see, and that's what I want to do still. I mean, we could still make it elected and have 3 elected people and then just put subcommittees with the elected committee. It'd still be,
Well, okay.
yeah.
Aren't we missing someone on the common committee now?
Town, where are we looking?
Playground? You talking
Playground? Yeah, playground, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's
no,
elected.
I
That's
didn't think,
elected, so that's not on here.
it's elected.
Yeah.
Well, if it's not elected, if there are 3 spots and nobody runs
On which, what are we talking about?
on any elected board,
Okay.
say somebody's elected and they move out of town and they can't fulfill the rest of their term, the Board of Selectmen appoints somebody to fill that term until the next election. So even if it's elected, we fill it.
So is there a vacancy on the playground and recreation committee?
I thought they had somebody that filled that spot this year, didn't they? Didn't they have somebody
It's
on the
not that
election?
list.
That's a
Oh, because it's elected.
Because you have Mike and Danny.
And there was one other person that ran this year, I
Was
thought.
it? I didn't-
Was it, Jablonski, is that the last
No,
name?
he gave it up last
Oh,
year.
he gave it up,
Yeah.
okay.
Joe gave it up.
We'll check it, but I'm pretty sure somebody get on the ballot this year to fill out that term.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you can't be on the committee as a at-large member to help out, with the things that you're talking about. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the appointed positions.
So moved.
Second?
Any further discussion? Motion made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so, appointment list. Approve and sign the MVP contract extension with CMRPC.
Yeah. We had already signed one with the state, so the MVP program that we started, and then, COVID hit, and so we're extending it for 1 year.
Okay.
So we just need, I think only Gail needs to sign that.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the extension.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's that. Sign a contract with Raymond James for the library repairs.
Mm-hmm. Dawn dropped that off today.
Okay. And that was from the vote we took
Yes.
at town meeting, so the money's been appropriated out of town meeting. Is that what we appropriated? 63.5?
Sounds right.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the contract so that we can get this thing done.
So
Yeah, they
moved.
said as soon as it was
Second?
Sorry if they get started.
Okay. Motion made, seconded, all in favor?
Alright, and that's for roof repairs, if you guys didn't, on the library.
What's today? Okay, that. Contract for Pvpc house rehab.
It's another one of the, we've been signing them a lot in the last several weeks. Another house in town.
That's under the grant, so
Yes.
we're signing for grant money to repair another home, 16,000. We'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
There's a toll booth in July. The NB Helps people called the other day, last minute, they wanted to do a Christmas in July toll booth in town. I told her to fill out the form and get it to us ASAP and talk to the chiefs. And she did, she talked to Chief Smith, he's on board with it.
Yeah, he drew her a map on the back of.
Oh,
where it's
about
gonna
how
be.
she was to set up?
Yep.
Okay. So it just needs our approval, so unless you have any
They
questions.
just setting up downtown, in the center of town? or
Yeah,
they going up?
yeah, Summer Street, School Street intersection, and the chief has ordered them to stay off the road, so they'll be on the sidewalks.
I move to approve it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so, that gives us Brooks Pond. And as it would have it, I was driving over Brooks Pond because I live on Madbrook and the Madbrook Bridge is now closed, so my route now is Brooks Pond if I need to get to Spencer. So I was driving it on Sunday. And
Wow.
I actually took a video as we were driving through, and I took pictures, and I immediately sent it to the chief of police, and I said, "Are you aware of this?" So he was not aware to the extent of the problem. So it's very timely, and I'm very aware of the situation.
Thank you for doing that.
So, yeah, and I had a talk with the chief. So we are in agreement that we're going to post signs, no parking, on both sides of the road.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to say on that? I mean, we didn't
No, I don't
discuss it,
think so.
but that's,
The problem has been them being pulled down, you know, hopefully we can get them up high enough. You know, we all recognize what a resource that is, and Board of Health and Met, our last, time before the last, with them, you were at one of our meetings and it came up, and we had had a couple of Brooks Pond Association people call us about asking us for help, down there. And so I would love to read the notes from that meeting.
I have them here, I actually pulled them and read them.
Okay.
Your meeting, yeah. I mean, to the extent,
Our minutes or the notes from that meeting?
oh, I have the minutes. You have extra notes there?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what, they may not be that different,
Okay.
but does anybody here want to hear the notes from the meeting? I mean, I don't want to waste anybody's time, but essentially the complete Board of Health was there, Lisa Gibbs, George Booth, Penny Booth, John Green, Mimi Crowder, Marilyn Borst, Jeffrey King, Michelle Thayer. These are all people that live around the pond, and many of them are part of the association. We called the meeting to order at 9 o'clock. The residents from Brooks Pond Association want help from the town of North Brookfield on a number of issues. The top of the list was to alleviate congestion in the road and on the beach by enforcing parking violations. They called the current parking on both sides of the road dangerous and out of control, as you so eloquently stated. All of the no parking signs on the road have been removed presumably by the public. When cars are parked on both sides of the road, large trucks coming down from the gravel operation, the road have a difficult time making it down the road. The fear is that children coming out onto the road from between parked cars are in danger of being hit. The association has provided an off-road parking place with adequate for the size of the beach and open to the public. Restricting parking on the road would keep the number of people using the beach under better control. The Board of Health offered to see if the DPW has more signs and could repost them up to a high, up higher to discourage removal. And that's part of our coming here to help, request for help for that. Again, the Pond Association brought up the amount of drinking of alcohol that goes on, fires for barbecues, littering and overcrowding. Association has met with the police and called them from time to time to complain about the above issues. Everyone agreed that if the police would stop by, especially on the weekends, and enforce the no parking, no public drinking, no fires, the pond would be a much safer place. The newest no littering signs that Jason put up, $300 fine, was ripped down. And you know, again, that doesn't seem to be as big of a problem. Jason has worked with John Knight from Association, and we've talked with them, and it seems like they're doing a pretty good job with, you know, picking up the trash there.
Yeah, but, so, just a couple of things on that. I talked to the chief, and he says he hasn't gotten any calls from the association as far as that goes. So, is anybody here?
As far as what, I'm sorry?
The association has met with the police and called them from time to time. Chief Smith says he has never met with the association.
I don't
to-
know who that's
Can
spoken.
I speak? I was the former president of the Brooks Pond Conservation Association.
Okay.
And we have met with Chief Smith, he's actually come to one of our meetings. We have historically consistently let them know. The issue has been for us that it, oftentimes there are issues on the water, and it's difficult for the police to access it. And frankly, like, we haven't seen it work to any effect. So we have attempted to do that. I don't know if calls have been made this summer per se, but the congestion this summer is particularly extreme. And there have been numerous attempts by the association to make sure people are aware of the rules, like no open fires and things like that. Handed out flyers in addition to signage to no effect. So that's why we're sort of stepping in now and saying, you know, we really do need your help with this.
Is the beach open just to town residents, or is it, no, it's not?
It's a private beach, but it's open to the public with restrictions.
Okay, and that's
Yeah.
private beach run by the Pier Association?
Right,
Yeah.
like the water body and the beach are all owned privately.
Yeah.
But as, you know, as good neighborhood,
Right.
they historically always made it available to the public here. You know, I think the current condition is such that we're seeing people from much further afield are coming.
That's what I was wondering, if it,
Right.
you know, maybe there's a way to just restrict it to town residents.
Yeah, that, well, we're having the same problem with the beach that is just restricted to town residents, so, it's an issue, yeah.
And there are no sanitary facilities there, and people stay there for 4 to 6 hours a day, and they're peeing in the pool, in the pond.
Oh, man.
And in the woods.
I know the woods. I did,
All over the
on the
place.
sign issue.
That should be a Board of Health issue, I think.
I would think so.
Yeah,
Well, again, there has been, and this came up, and we've talked about it at this meeting, that there was a porta potty there, and the association pulled it out because somebody blew it up with a.
That's true,
Yeah.
it did happen.
And again, but I mean, I think that this is just the beginning discussion on, you know, how we deal with this. And if we want to see this open to the public, we pay to monitor the water down there. You guys pay enormous amounts of money, and the public doesn't have a clue how much you pay to keep that water clean and that area clean. And maybe we do need to get some of the other towns that are continued that use this to pony up something also. I don't know. We discussed at our meeting that if it was too much for the highway department to remove the trash, that maybe we hire a company. I think that we're gonna get less illegal dumping in our little smaller containers than in a big waste management container. That's just my history around solid waste management, but the porta potty thing, you know, I'm not opposed to revisiting that, and we're paying to clean the one down at the town beach.
yeah.
Who's gonna pay for it up there?
I don't know, this is something we need to get quotes for and see is it something we can afford to do. And again, and it may be, something that some of the other towns pitch into, I don't know, I mean, and it may, I've heard expressions at that meeting that, having the porta potty there gets people to stay the longer.
It could.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true, and then where will we put the porta potties, there's really
Right.
not a lot of space.
It's supposed to be just like a
That's
cute
not gonna
little
solve the problem
private
that's
little
over
thing
there,
that no one
porta
really
potty.
knows
No.
about.
Well,
Not
right,
one.
you have well
over
according to the
100
website.
to 150.
Okay, we can't have a whole bunch of conversations going on. I gotta control the meeting a little bit,
Can I do a
so.
follow-up on signs when I get a chance?
Yeah, please.
Because you started on signs. and
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I think, I have a question, well, I'll ask the question last. On the signs, the association was kind enough this year to put up yellow signs in the wake of the COVID virus. And they put them down there, and I don't think they lasted 3 days, most of them. They were ripped down. I saw the jerk who did it. I don't know who he is, but he ripped them all down, and it was like he took pride in just getting rid of those signs. It said maintain distancing, follow safe guidelines,
Yeah.
nothing radical, And he ripped them down. They were just gone. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
He did it in broad daylight, and he was gone.
But I don't think, that taking them down, in any way defeats our ability to enforce the rules. So
No,
we have a
it doesn't.
$300 littering fine. If you're caught littering, it's $300. I don't care if there's a sign there that says it is or it isn't.
Right. You put the
it's
sign up. You
yeah.
did your job.
So I think we can enforce that. If we say no parking on either side per order, either the chief of police, because that's what he did on Short Road over at the boat ramp. We put, when it gets really bad like this, he puts signs down there saying per order of the chief of police.
Yeah.
I talked to him, I said, whatever works for enforcement, if it's board of selectmen, chief of police, I don't care who it is, but
My point in telling you this is I just want you to know that the signs are a target by some personalities.
Mhm.
And that's probably true in any place where people want to do something and not be told what to do. But here, the issue with the signs with the no parking, if the police can be behind that and be attached to it for enforcement.
yes.
If they're there every hour doing a loop on busy, hot days and just writing tickets, making money for the town, that will create some revenue for you, and it'll stop the problem for everyone traveling on Brooks Pond Road.
Right.
So if the force of the police, law enforcement can be put behind those, not just like a private deal,
Yep.
this goes official, that I think would go further.
And the parking lot would be the limit of how many people could go there.
Yes.
And you can fit
essentially.
18 cars in the parking lot?
You could probably
Something
fit
like
that.
It's a small little.
Well,
Yeah.
this letter says 18, so.
You can adjust the size of it, it's adjusted down a bit,
So,
so.
if we marked, or if somebody marked out the spaces, and you put a sign up that said, if you can't fit in the parking lot in one of the spaces, you can't park here, you can't swim here,
Right.
right?
The capacity is.
And then, obviously, they're gonna have to park on the street, in which case they would get a ticket.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then they'd be parking where the sign says, no parking.
Yeah,
That would be a good outcome if you could affect
Yeah,
that.
and I think if you did that for a few, weekends, it would nip it in the bud, people would get hip to it
Yeah.
quick.
Your revenue stream would go down over time,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
But that's the goal.
But that's the
Yeah.
goal.
So
Yeah.
I have two comments. One is the association has had it posted that the hours are 8 to 8, that people can access the pond for boating or swimming.
Mhm.
And the hours, I've seen the police come by at maybe 10 minutes of 8 and then not come back. And people are there showing up at 8:20, 8:40,
Absolutely.
setting up and staying till quite late at night.
And when I get up at 6 in the morning, there are people in my backyard. So they
Yeah.
obviously park someplace before 8 and go on the pond.
Okay.
So the other big issue for me is, a week ago Sunday, I took a walk up the road and just brought my trash bag and my picker, and I cannot tell you how many nip bottles and how many beer
They're
cans.
awful.
I
Well,
believe it.
I don't know if all of the streets in town are like that.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, like that.
all right, so again, we've got a public health issue in this community. This is the amount of
That's
people
one of the
are
reasons we
drinking and
set
driving bourbon
the fine.
bottles,
Yeah.
really hard, we're talking hard liquor. I've
Near a
seen-
lake, it's chronic, because it's a recreational hangout, and the booze, and with some people, they go hand in hand, and that's a problem.
Yeah, it's like an orchard, and there are specific
Twisted Tea.
Yeah, but there are houses that actually get bottles because it's the distance from there, yeah, from the,
Bottles? No,
Well-
we get a lot more than just bottles.
well, I'm just
Actually,
saying,
You'd be surprised what comes floating over towards me.
I'm sure, yeah.
You would not believe it.
But it's all over town, it's,
Yeah.
you know.
I've had people tell me they're a one nip drive from the package store.
Yeah, because they always get the bottles in their yard, so.
And the parking issue also is that there are multiple websites that address Brooks Pond as the place to go. So,
Wow.
most of the people that are there are not local.
Yeah, we see New York plates.
Yeah, well, I think if we do,
It's
step
gonna-
up the
it's gonna
enforcement,
take- It's gonna take
like you said, that'll go
a whole
down.
season.
I was
eliminate
thinking
them.
about that though, that we should write some of these paddling groups and whatnot and explain to them that there is not access.
Yeah.
That the amount of access is very limited, so if somebody comes and travels from far away and there's no parking, they're not gonna be able to use the facility.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Right now, the occasional time when the police do cruise down there, that's all they do. They do not approach people, the cars are parked on both sides, and then they turn around and go back. So if there could be some help, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yep,
Probably getting the road posted with signs, making it that official, maybe that can be the dividing line for like different game
yeah.
now.
And we'll try to put them a little higher and,
Yeah,
and see if we could just put them out of reach a little bit, but, yes, sir.
Yes, I want to not get away from the fact about the alcohol consumption, because what I have found particularly worrisome, and we've been on the pond for decades, is that people literally get there midday, sometimes earlier than that, with their alcohol. They head out, they get on the islands, which they shouldn't be doing anyway, but they're out there and they're drinking because people from the association and other people in the pond have gone out there and retrieved the cans and the bottles
And the glass.
in the glass. And then, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they're getting in their car and driving up between this alley up Brooks Pond Road. It's very dangerous. I'm an attorney. I have an office in Northampton, which I commute to frequently, early in the morning. I've been doing it for decades. And it's okay in the morning, but when I come back home, say 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm just worried sick that some kid is going to get killed because they see monstrous trucks going through that defile from the gravel pit.
Mhm.
And those drivers have a hard time keeping track of these kids that are popping in and out of these cars parked along the road. So it's an
Yeah.
event, a bad event waiting to happen.
Yep, I agree.
Is the,
Yeah, I've
is the
seen it.
gravel operation supposed to be working on Saturday and Sunday?
I
I thought it
so,
was restricted to just during the week.
yeah, so in this town, we have a gravel removal bylaw
Yeah.
with no gravel removal permit. So there's no restriction at this point on any gravel.
You're
removal.
not required to have a permit?
Nope. Well, they're required to have a permit, but there's no permitting process, so there's nobody to give them a permit, so they operate. So,
They go Saturday and Sunday.
yeah, that's under the Conservation Commission purview, that earth removal bylaw, so.
Give a little history on that. Was very active in that bylaw. The Board of Selectmen at that time told the Conservation Commission, Dale,
Yep.
you will not enforce this, you will not have permits for this. Only one operator went and filled out a permit, and that was Dave Burkham, and he's always run his things that way. 2 of the people on the committee, with the first 2, were never reappointed by select boards because they were vocal about wanting to enforce the bylaw, because we spent so much time on it. And it's no different than anybody else's bylaw in any of the other towns. It's not like we came up with something radical.
Yeah, no, it's I was on conservation for 5 years, and and I do this kind of, in my practice, I represent people in permitting, and it's no more restrictive, that's for sure, than any other bylaw, so.
Yeah, and if you wanted to start using that bylaw and enforcing it and putting a permit in, sure, there's a lot of conservation people that would be really happy to see that. Because we put a lot of skin in that, and there was a lot of ran first meetings and a lot of threats, by people, which was really kind of silly because in the very next town, they were doing everything that was in our permit.
Yeah, so Saturdays, Saturday's a regular day for some gravel operations up until noon. So that's not really out of the ordinary, but Sunday, I don't see any reason why they should be running on a Sunday. But,
I don't know if I notice or what.
7 o'clock sometimes
Do they
at
run on
night,
Sunday
either
anymore on the
Saturday
occasional?
or even a Sunday.
really?
They go until 7 o'clock, yep.
Can I ask a question?
Who?
I didn't know I was coming here for this. Thank you guys all for having your pond open. I know my husband and I have been on that pond kayaking many times. It's beautiful. Is it mostly this year that you guys have had that issue because of COVID? Because people have, it's like they wanna be out and about doing stuff?
It's been building this year.
It's been building.
And on long holidays, it's always been an
And I
issue,
took them
but
down
we
out
sort
of
of like
the tree.
realized
2.5
that,
hours to hang them in the
that's,
tree.
you know,
This year was
It's
horrible.
magnified,
Yes, that's a fair statement, but we've
Okay.
had the problems for 20 years at least.
Okay.
And I'm told by people who've been on the pond longer than I have, I've been there 30 years,
So the litter.
that it's actually been cyclic over 50 or 60
We put the
years.
signs back up, right?
Bad and
We
bad.
put up a
Right,
sign that
right.
says, you're on camera, and put
Yeah,
cameras
but so
up.
it is,
Absolutely.
Would that be legal
when you
then?
Google
Yep.
Brooks Pond,
I think
you
we should
get
do
all
that.
these.
Trail cams.
Yeah.
Yep, trail cams, we
tabs
put a
or
sign up,
something,
just
like
one, we just need
Trash
one.
me up is
right?
another one, and they
You just
keep
gotta
it
catch
in
one
the
guy.
Says
to get
people,
here. So
says to
they-
people, you're
like,
on
oh,
camera.
free, it's
Yeah.
clean
We'll see what
pond,
happens.
the motor goes-
Can I ask you a
Okay.
question about the signage?
Yep.
Of the posting?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly where are you gonna be doing this? Are you gonna be just only posting from the beach, say, to the pit? Or are you going further down the road and further up Brooks Pond Road? Because as soon as they come to those signs, they drive down a couple 100 feet, there's no signs, next thing you know, people are parking in front of the pit, and then people are parking up.
I would say go up to the Christmas tree lady there, what's her name,
Should go
Diane?
beyond that.
Okay,
Oh,
28.
it should
Yeah.
have to go beyond that, and it should go into Spencer.
Yeah,
You need
absolutely.
to talk to Spencer.
Good point.
Yeah, you'll need to talk
Next
to
thing you
Spencer
know,
because we
they're gonna
can't
be
do it.
parking in front of his house,
Yeah.
and we live on a private road,
Yeah.
which their car's gonna get towed anyways, but the thing is, we're gonna be putting up with that issue. And then further down the road, which is even narrow than towards North Brookfield.
Yep.
So that's something that needs to be,
Well, you can't do every tree.
No, but you can
No,
be
every-
generous with the length. It's
every-
not
yeah.
Frank's saying, I think go wide.
and I
Go long.
think that once we start, you know, and maybe we don't even ticket the first weekend, we go out there and put a whole bunch of warnings, and then the next weekend, it's tickets, and people are gonna get it. And you'll probably get some
no,
of the
they're
same
not gonna
people.
get it.
No.
I would actually start, mean what you say what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, so here's what I told the chief, my preference for enforcement would be, people that live in North Brookfield get a warning, get off the road, no parking. People that are not from North Brookfield get a ticket right away, get out of here, we don't need that.
Whatever works.
But then we'll post the road. I think what we could probably do is take that electronic sign,
Mhm.
put that electronic sign out there, no parking on Brooks Pond Road, period, no parking. We'll leave that up so that people can see it coming down from 148 side.
you'll have to do it on both ends, so.
Yeah, but we only have one sign, so, yeah.
We should get somebody coming
Spencer.
the other way.
Yeah, from the,
So
from
for- for-
148 to Route 30.
No, people will notice this sign.
Yeah.
And
And
it's a
then-
little more uncomfortable to vandalize that too.
Yeah, that's true. yeah.
You guys have any trail cams? Anybody down there have a trail cam?
I don't, because I don't know what a trail cam is. but-
Hunters use them for,
Oh, okay.
game.
I have two.
Okay.
I have 4 out. I have one on the rail trail, I have them up at my
Yeah.
property.
It sounds like a nice device.
You gotta monitor them, that's the thing, you go get the.
Yeah, so we'll post the no littering signs again, I think.
I thought they were up, did they take those down?
They just, he put up one more new one. I think there's enough up there that people, you know, it says it right on your sign, it says it on those other signs, and like you said, Dale, that's state law, we don't need to, tell people there's no littering.
Oh, really? Somebody
Okay,
dumped
that's-
4 tires on
Well,
the beach
Again,
side.
I'm not gonna tell you it doesn't happen, it happens all over town, and, we highways department's picking up tires, they're picking up trash, they're picking up everything every week, all over. Do we catch everybody? No. If somebody leaves something in their bag with their address on it, then we catch them, but.
I don't find towels.
Yeah,
So, well, yeah,
On the way down here, I did notice that there is a new sign, no parking with the littering, $300 fine, is posted fairly high, and there was a van parked right in front of it.
okay.
So,
So we'll,
I think that's just a no littering thing.
yep, so we'll talk to the police chief about stepping out enforcement and posting that road to no parking.
And get some revenue while they're at it.
So,
And the closing is 8, not
No.
9 or later.
yeah. All right, so just to be on the safe side, I'll entertain a motion to post Brooks Pond Road no parking for the entire length of North Brookfield.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
So it's an official vote of the board. It can be posted and enforced. We'll try to start abating the problem. Did you have something you wanted to?
So that's the parking, which is wonderful, and then can they also enforce the littering, the alcohol, and the fires? Is that asking too much?
Well, Highway's got a trail cam, don't they?
You know,
I have it.
I
Yeah.
think if you guys met
It's
with
on-
the chief,
it's on the rail trail.
he's very reasonable, you know, you could,
Yeah.
you know,
Ryan
a
Daly's
couple
got
of
one.
you meet with him and just, you know, he sounds like he's willing.
I know John, our president, did recently meet with him.
Yeah.
I know somebody met with the highway superintendent, because I talked to him today
Yeah.
too.
John and John.
That was John.
About,
Okay.
about removing trash and whatnot.
I think
So-
one role here, where, with you really supporting this, your board is gonna make this happen.
Yeah, and we'll, you know, because you need enforcement too, you need the
Yep.
teeth behind it, so we will definitely make sure that the police department gets on it, because the video I took the other day when I was coming through, the cars on both sides, doors open on the street on both sides, and kids run down the other road.
It's not an anomaly.
crazy.
That happens more often in hot
Yeah.
weather than you
Yeah.
would know.
Not just the weekend, during the weekend.
Oh, I'm sure, in the summertime, absolutely, yep.
Bye, guys, I gotta run
Okay.
back to the office.
See ya.
See you, John.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? Anybody else got anything?
On
Public
that,
comment period? Yeah, in general.
What's gonna be happening down at the old timeout?
Um,
What's happening there?
It's a winery, a wine,
They make it.
make it there, and they're gonna have tastings, and it's gonna be like,
Agenda, sorry.
like the beer place on Route 20, right, or on Route 9, the Treehouse. So I see they're making a big fire pit and stuff like that, but it's gonna be for wine.
I brought the other one.
I didn't see what it, I didn't know what it was though.
Common grounds
Yeah,
is
but I didn't know
what,
what it was.
yeah.
Is this the bar?
They're gonna make beer too, beer and
But I
wine.
can't.
So we're still in a meeting. If you could take a conversation out, that would be great. Thank you.
I do have one other thing we gotta talk about, the alcohol.
Yeah, and there's that section of town now is also designated as marijuana distribution place? Retail sales.
Where?
That section of town where Timeout is, down the industrial section.
South of Ward Street.
Yeah, so it's been rezoned for marijuana distribution, so
Thank you.
I'm trying to push the wine and weed deal going on there. I think we should.
I like it.
I don't think they're interested though, they're gonna post.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you could find a place without like an 8-figure installment charge, that would be great.
Yeah.
It costs so much though.
It's the zone for cannabis distribution.
Yeah, we didn't have a zone for retail distribution of marijuana in town, so
That's
that,
been one of my questions too. I actually had it written down, I was gonna ask.
yep,
It was more fun when it was illegal.
that section.
Tasted better.
That went through the planning board last year.
Yeah, I haven't been, I heard about it, but I haven't actually heard if it had went through, so.
We zoned it south of Ward Street, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
That includes
We didn't
around
want it up in
Winter
where the
Street
church is and the,
Does that include what?
That
Yeah.
includes
No,
around
that's
the
a
Winter
good-
Street
This is a
area,
good
right?
area, I think.
No.
no.
Have we zoned any other new business areas?
Pardon me?
Have you guys zoned any new business areas besides that? No.
No, that was pretty much.
Okay.
No, one step at a time, don't make the town freak out.
So,
I
I have one more thing I want to
Okay.
bring up. It's too late for this year, maybe a little premature for next year. Has it ever been tried in North Brookfield, not during my time, a community garden?
Well.
not
there's
that I
great
know
news.
of, but I know you've been quite active in trying to establish
We have
ones.
3 things that we need to handle right now that we could really use some community help with. We need a forester to take care of a couple of trees in a particular yard. We're looking for 1 line of zoning for a surveyor. And as far as like tilling goes, compost, those are taken care of. Really, it's the trees, it's the zoning, the surveying, and if we can find a well, we'll have our own water source.
Where would that be? Yeah, where?
That would, funny how I mentioned Winter Street, it would be right around Winter Street.
Oh, where though on Winter Street? Where's town property on Winter Street?
It's not town property.
There's an individual that donated
Yep.
about 6,000 square feet of private
I'm
land.
looking at town property. That's
Okay.
why, I've been involved before. It's tough when you get somebody, individual person that's so generous and then
Well,
things don't go.
You're welcome to join helping us if you
I'll
ever feel
see.
inclined.
And I was looking more at raised beds. I mean, I don't know if any of you are gardeners, I'm a gardener.
Me too.
I have a
And-
huge garden.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you understand.
Almost an
And
acre.
this year, there have been so many people with raised bed gardens.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Yeah, my daughter did one right up the street because she doesn't want to bend down.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're wonderful, they don't take up a lot of space, I didn't know, I'm thinking about it, I've been surveying, the property down by the town forest, seeing if that's feasible, again, I'm thinking town property.
What are you thinking?
When I was involved before, we used an old school.
You think it's something like West Brookfield has where each person gets a slice and they
That's
can
correct.
grow
That's
vegetables on their
correct.
little slice and,
How you
yeah.
gonna water it? That's the thing. We don't have.
That's
Yeah.
well,
You know what a well
you
costs?
gotta have water,
You know what a well costs? They're $8,000.
okay.
You know.
Oh, yeah,
The
I
average,
mean,
they-
I'm
they
not
come in,
talking
they-
about putting in a well, that's
No, but if
not
you went
feasible.
down in that area,
If
I
someone
There's
mean,
no
that's
water.
just a
Doesn't
question,
have much
I
money,
didn't
they can
know,
slap
is
over.
there water available, there's a little pond there, I know further down.
you need a pump. And
Oh,
where's
yeah,
the,
pumps,
where's,
I've done that,
but
pumps
where's
are-
the electricity?
And that was another,
run the pump?
is there juice down there?
There's always solutions to problems.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the short of it is, develop a plan and bring it to us and we will consider it,
Cool, cool.
all right? Anything else? Because I know Jason's got something, if nobody else has anything.
Okay, we were gonna talk about the flooring quotes.
Flooring quotes,
Oh, for the school.
yeah, for the school.
We forgot to put it on the,
I put flooring, are they?
we didn't get it put on the, agenda,
It's-
so
The gym locker rooms.
So the locker rooms, the tile's been coming up, and we have 2 quotes on epoxy, which would probably last a lot longer than putting tile down there, and it would get a flake finish, so it would be skid proof. Right now it's dangerous because the tiles are coming up and the kids could go in there
Went to
barefoot.
that school, I
And-
fell so many times.
Yep.
And we got 2 quotes. They tried to get 3. That's part of why it took so long to get us the quotes. This is the one that the town clerk got the updated cost because they gave us the price back in January. This is the total here. Now this is for this one here. The total comes out to $68,408. And it says to rip out and dispose existing tile, base tile to remain, because what'll happen is the base tile has a cove to it. So we'll take the tile that's failing out, and the epoxy will come in and go up to the bottom of that where that base ends. So it'll look like it belongs like that, right? So we won't have to touch any of the wall tile because that's not failing. The floor will be mechanically prepared by way of diamond grinding. 5-coat Duraflex macro chip system will be installed. And then there's an additional charge for moisture primer if the moisture test comes back where it's high. And then working around or removal and replacement of existing partitions is included. any plumbing work that becomes needed by the owner. And this is for the high school labs, the lower level labs, the boys and girls locker rooms, the visitors locker rooms, and the coaches lavatories. And that's $68,408.
They're doing the whole floors or just sections?
The whole thing.
The-
Yep.
In each locker room, the whole floor?
Yep, take all the tile out, put,
Yeah.
floor leveler and then epoxy over it and chip flake. And then we got one more bid here, that, do you want me to explain it?
Yeah, it's 48,532, but you can explain it. If it, is it apples to apples, the two,
It is, there's actually more in it,
in this one?
yeah.
Okay.
Because that includes, replacing a bunch of cracked and failing VCT out in the hallway by the gym,
Oh, yeah, we looked at that.
okay?
Yep.
So, plus
Yeah.
it includes the dumpster and everything. I don't know, this probably does too, but it didn't, this other one does.
Is
It
he
doesn't
chip
say it.
flaking also?
It's the same thing,
But he's fixing some of the hallway stuff?
yep.
And he's less?
20,000.
Considerably less, yeah,
20,000 less.
Yeah.
because he's local.
Oh, he's a local guy? Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, the contractor's from North Brookfield, and the flooring, the epoxy contractor, is actually from Palmer.
Yeah.
I don't know where the other guy's from, so.
Whose budget?
Hmm?
Whose budget is
This is coming from the Capital Stabilization Fund.
it? Oh, the stabilization fund?
The
Yeah.
capital.
Capital Stabilization.
Okay.
So, years
There
ago,
used to be a stabilization fund.
there is.
Right.
And now there's a capital stabilization fund?
Yep, and a special ed stabilization fund. Oh, we got them all. So,
Yeah, that way we can,
we got to tuck money away because years ago, we had a capital planning committee
Yeah.
that, so we knew we would need a fire truck. We
Right.
knew there was a roof
Yes.
that needed to be repaired. We didn't put a dime in that capital stabilization account for years until I got on
Yep.
the board. And then the second year I was on the board, the first year Jason was on the
You say
board.
you didn't put a dime in the capital stabilization?
Right.
So that was incorporated, how old is the capital stabilization fund versus the regular stabilization?
well, the fund is 2
15.
years old, or 4 years.
Oh, not long.
We,
No, the capital
Are you talking
stabilization,
about the initial stabilization fund? 'Cause I remember.
yeah, that's,
No.
that's
I
been
remember
there.
there was always money in the stabilization fund.
yes, towns always have a stabilization fund,
Yeah.
right? So you put money away for a rainy day.
Exactly.
We've built that up to almost $1 million. So
Whoa.
we're at a good point financially in stabilization.
That's great.
We had a capital stabilization fund that's been in place for a long time, ever since we had the capital planning committee, but nobody put any money in it. So when a need came up, we needed a new fire truck, we had absolutely no money, we had to borrow. So we started squirreling money away into that each year, and that was up to $248,000. So this money would come from that capital stabilization.
Mhm.
What happened to the other one? Just got used up?
What other one's that?
The original ones to get a million in or whatever.
It's still
No,
there.
that's a million,
Still
that's
there.
the rainy
Yeah,
day
so-
fund.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep, and then we have a special ed stabilization account that we just started a couple of years ago, because the town is responsible for paying for special ed students that get placed in another, so that doesn't come out of the school's fund, it comes out of the town's coffers.
Just went through that.
So,
Really screws us up.
so we don't know when it's coming sometimes, so sometimes the school doesn't know that they're getting a student in that needs this service, so all of a sudden, we're scrambling for money, so we have a stabilization account where we put money in to cover that, just so we don't get caught behind the 8 ball on that one, so.
And you're talking big money. That's big money.
It can be big, it was
My
100,000.
experience has been,
Yeah.
it's broken the town apart, actually.
Yep.
Those, it's,
We had 2 last year.
Yeah, we had 2 last year. And the other one is, if a program is not offered in town,
Yeah.
or in the trade school that we're associated with, Baypath, then a student can go to the trade school, like tractor repair out in Northampton, and the town's stuck with that bill too.
Right.
That was $100,000 for 4 years running, we had 4
insane.
students.
oh,
Absolutely
know.
insane.
Yeah.
So call your legislators,
Yeah.
complain.
Oh, but you know, every state is dealing with this, I can
That
tell
sounds
you.
like something
Yeah, well-
Every flippin' state is.
That's,
dealing
that's
with
fine,
it.
call your legislators and
Yeah.
tell them.
I actually wrote a few letters because the way that they set up the funds for Massachusetts schools does not make any sense currently.
Right,
It really
it's
doesn't. It's
how
a-
many
it-
decades out?
It supports people who already have a lot of money. It supports schools who already have a lot of money and their schools are doing well, they give them more money. Schools that aren't doing well, oh, well, I'm guessing that's just your own problem, it has nothing to do with funding or anything.
Well, the other problem for us is the formula that they're using for,
Chapter
the,
70, I think,
the what?
for the Massachusetts education funding.
No, it's the, what do they call it? The, net school spending number.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So the town has to provide a certain amount of money to the school.
Yeah.
And the number is based on the number of students versus the population versus the minimum amount of money that people are taking in, like the average income of the, which for us is like 46,000.
Right.
And it puts it in a number and it says, this is how much the town has to give to the school. Well, the school's always complaining that that's not enough,
Yeah.
but that's all we can afford. So the school doesn't have enough money, and the formula is antiquated, and there's no doubt about it. Now the states have a problem with it, but that's the formula we have, so that's the predicament we're in. So.
Yeah, but I mean, the state funding, the state matches some of the state pays per student,
Yes,
and a certain amount of money. That doesn't work in small schools.
that's Chapter 70 money.
That's chapter
Yeah,
70 money. It doesn't work, I mean, I get that, you know, I think our town does our part to support our school as much as we can for a small town, but the state does not make up enough.
And there are
That's
so
true.
many districts
My
that
question
need
was,
providing
who
donations.
was paying for this? Where was the budget, and you said the capital?
Capital
what do you call it?
stabilization.
Capital
Stabilization.
Stabilization Fund
Yes.
Mhm.
is paying for this,
Yep.
this work done.
Well, we're asking the town to take the money from capital stabilization to pay for
Yeah,
it. So it
I-
has to
I
go to town
understand.
voters. It's a 2/3 vote to get it out, so
Yeah.
the people have to
Yeah.
support it, but that's what we're putting
And
forward.
It'll be at the special town meeting that we're gonna have here, right?
No.
No,
It's gonna be, it's gonna be at the school?
Well, we can't fit that many people in
Right,
this.
right.
November?
No,
Actually, it's
August 4th.
August 4th. Yep,
Like, that's next week or so.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, 14 days.
I haven't been, paid.
Do we have to vote on one
Because
of those
there's-
prices, or?
Well,
I don't know, do we
What
have
do we have
to,
to-
do we have to choose, or do we put it to the voters which one they want?
Or whether
I
they
think you
want?
make the motion for the one that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta make.
yeah.
So I mean, we don't
You gotta
have to
give them
take,
the amount of money.
Right,
You
Yeah.
gotta tell them how much money you're looking to appropriate.
right,
Right, it's either the 48 or the, what was it, 62?
68, it's $20,000
Or
difference, right?
68 or 48?
But we don't have to take low bid if you're comparing the bids and you're getting something. But if it's apples to, that's why I asked, if it's apples to apples,
Right.
why pay 20,000 more than you have to pay
Right.
for the same thing?
Right,
So,
and if it's a reputable contractor,
yeah.
local,
Yeah,
I don't think he'd be
local, that'd
wailing
secure
us.
his money well.
Yeah,
That's so significant.
yeah, so I'll entertain a motion to go with the Nash Contracting, he's a local contractor for 48.
So what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, you're recusing yourself?
I'm recusing myself, yes, because
Yeah.
I have an interest in Nash Contracting, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I will not be voting on this. I'm able to talk about it and tell you, explain it, but, I work with Nash occasionally, so. and
Yeah,
I'm-
so there's no direct conflict, but there's a
Right.
potential of an appearance
Right.
of an impropriety, so
So-
he's gonna recuse.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that refusal.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion.
One
Move,
quick
motion
thing.
made.
Hold
All right, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Good.
To end the meeting?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Can I ask a quick question about that? Do you guys have photos that you're gonna be able to share next week at the meeting?
We can ask the school for photo. Are you talking a photo of what we think we're gonna put down with the epoxy,
No,
or
so
the
how
problem?
How the problem, because I'm just afraid, I know every once in a while people get, oh, I don't wanna spend money on the school, and I'm worried without actually showing the proof of the damage that.
Well,
Dale and
So-
I walked it last year.
Yeah.
and it's pretty
I
bad.
believe.
so here's the thing. The building inspector actually issued a cease and desist for use of it. It was a safety issue, and he ordered it shut down, but because it's a school, we really didn't have the choice, and he did that 2 years ago, and we only found out about it as the Board of Selectmen last year, when the Finance Committee sought capital expenses, they brought it to our attention, so, I think we're kind of under an obligation as a safety issue
I
to
agree
fix it.
with you, I'm just afraid that, I know I've seen things that needed to be passed that weren't.
No, good point. I'll ask them to bring some pictures and we'll ask them to, well, actually, we're going to have, I think we're gonna have the projector there, right?
Yeah, I did
Because-
ask for that.
Because the other issue is the sewer upgrade. That's the
Yeah.
other warrant issue. That's,
Mhm.
and that is a DEP
Yep.
requirement for the sewer department, so
Can't get out of that one.
if we don't,
Posted?
warrants
Already,
posted,
It's already been posted?
Got posted
It
today.
just
at
Posted
five.
got
today.
posted today.
Okay, copies at the town, at your office?
Yes.
Yep.
So we get a copy of the warrant?
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah,
and
we'll
I
post it on the
have-
North Brookfield, there's that information page, North
Yep.
Brookfield,
Yep.
town of thing on Facebook, and we'll post it on our
Website.
website, and.
And I'd
we'll put it
encourage
up.
everybody to study it. And
But you can go down and get a copy, if
Yeah.
you want a paper
How
copy.
many articles on the warrant? I'm just curious.
6.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Well, the sewer one's probably gonna take a while.
How much money?
Millions. 13 million?
Any help?
Yes. Yep, he's applying for a whole bunch of grants, and he'll explain all of it,
Okay,
and what
yeah,
the
I'm sorry,
offsets he
I
thinks are gonna
okay.
be, and it was one of those issues that sewer is, the bill just for the users, but it's such a big upgrade that we have to spread it out across the town. 900 users can't
Voting
afford
to
that.
raise and appropriate, is that what it is? Is it,
Uh,
no,
We're,
it's not
we're
to
voting
raise-
to,
Debt exclusion under 2.5.
thank you.
Okay.
Yep. So it's one of the, it's,
One of
it's,
those, yeah.
Yeah.
it's not an override, it's a debt exclusion, so we're gonna have to borrow the money, and then, you know, it's a loan that gets paid, and it hits your taxes X amount of dollars, and then,
Right.
but then, when it's paid off, it goes away, and we have a few that are coming off, so there's kind of offsets.
I
and-
heard that.
But,
Everybody, well, this stuff's coming off, so we can present this, $6
Well,
million.
well, that's not why we're doing it.
I
We're-
know, I'm not you, this is what I've
So-
heard.
right,
So-
but the thing to be considered is, it's a DEP mandate
Yep.
that we do this, and if we don't, it's a potential of $10,000 a day fine. So,
Yeah.
at some point, that fine's gonna offset the cost, and that's borne by the town, so not by the users, so.
Right.
And it's stressed, perhaps by you, I'm just suggesting,
Yep.
that really, that's the thing that really needs to be stressed at the town meeting, to
And-
those voters
That
in.
sounds
And-
Well, he's going for as many grants as he can get.
Right. And
to-
in an
to pay
indirect
for the
way,
state to take care of as much as they can.
and in an indirect way, the town does benefit from the sewer because all the public buildings use it and
I mean, it's gonna
whatever
corrode and
else.
cause bigger problems eventually anyways,
Yeah.
and more money and.
Yeah, but that'll all be brought up, and there'll be a projector, and the sewer superintendent will give his spiel. And it's a two-step process, so once we approve at a town meeting, it goes on to the ballot, which is why we did it now, so that when the next ballot.
Again, this is new to me, have you done this kind of thing before? I'm not knocking it, I'm just curious. Have you?
Yeah, the fire department ladder truck, I think, was the last one we did, right?
Okay.
And that was a couple of years ago.
First one coming off in 2023, so it's gonna be years before these things start coming off. Anyway,
Yeah, but it'll be another year or two before we borrow against it, so it'll be right around the time, because we need a little bit of money now for the design phase, but then the bulk of it's gonna be the construction phase, which is gonna be later, so, it'll come into phase. Hmm?
John had something before we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I just stand corrected, I talked to Lisa, we did not put the liens on those homes. And I
Yep.
know the board had voted to go ahead and do that, but, they're going to be off the billing next year. And, you know, but I'm still getting people tonight that, you know, that's why I had to rush back over there, is, that, you know, I haven't gotten my bill. Well, they probably got their bill, but they haven't paid it, and they misplaced it.
Misplaced it.
And, but they won't be able to use the facility without a sticker, so everybody pays it.
How did it get to be $7,000? What, it's
There's-
a $60 fee, I mean, is there that many people that?
When you bill everybody, there's a lot more than that even, because we didn't bill everybody. Because, you know, a certain percentage of our town uses curbside pickup.
Yes.
And,
Right, but those pickup guys are registered and you know it's not coming here, right?
Yeah, but some of them are 3 years running, because I looked at the list sent out by Lisa, and so one individual owes 180. That's 3
Yeah.
years.
Okay.
of
And they
60.
haven't paid them, so I guess part of the thing is that the stuff goes on these liens and doesn't come back to us till years later. And some of it has come back to us when the house has changed things, but there are some people that, they just thumb their nose at this stuff. And for all intents and purposes, what we wanna do is make sure that these people aren't burning their trash or throwing it somewhere nasty. And we try to do our best to figure it, but that's quite a number of people we really don't know.
Mhm.
But the main thing is to keep the people honest that come to the facility. And more people through the COVID have stopped curbside and come back to us. This goes in fluctuations over the years also. And I've never quite understood why, but you know, you go up a little bit and we're long overdue for a video. My friend, is it Fritz?
Fits.
Fitz.
Yes.
I would love to take you down and give you a tour of our facility and talk to you a little bit about what, I think when a lot of people see that, they're not aware of how amazing our facility is. That to be bailing 3 commodities online and be selling recyclables by the tractor trailer load is rare in the state of Massachusetts for municipalities. I know of a couple that may have 1 bailer, but nobody doing 3 online, and it's because of the fact that we designed this in the beginning to have that ability, and you know, did a lot of work with both the select board and Board of Health to really educate ourselves about this and design a facility with a resident engineer from town to set this up so that we could be doing this.
Yeah, because the user fees just offset it a little bit. The town,
Right.
the town taxes, there's line items for a lot of it, so we,
Yeah.
as a town, support it, so.
Yeah, well,
I
the
would
vast
love to
majority
talk
is
with
paid
some
by
of
the
the
user
folks.
fees, and that has changed in the most recent recycling. Costs have just gone nuts. But there were years when we were making so much money off of our recyclables, selling tractor trailer loads of plastics, that we were running 70,000 in that recyclable vault, and whenever anything had to be done on the facility, we paid it out of that. Whenever we were short on salary, we paid it out of that.
So why is the town having a user fee for a service that is pulling in revenue for the town? That's a question.
As an offset, it's a minor
Yeah.
offset.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what we do.
I guess what I'm far more interested in is, this technology is great, the infrastructure is great. I love this. I would love to talk to some of the folks that I know who specialize in recycling technology
Yeah.
and see what we can do together.
Well, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they can only charge enough to run the place. They can't like make
Right.
money on it.
Right.
So,
And right now, we're not, in the world of recycling right now, I've been in the business for 30 years. I work for the city of Springfield and manage
cool.
the complete school systems, recycling, trash, and hazardous waste. And worked as a consultant for the state running their,
Very cool.
so a lot of stuff. So I'd love to talk to you about this and, you know, and show you some of the awards we've won for this facility.
That's cool.
And explain to you why it is so unique.
I love that.
And the people that come in, we have to be audited annually by a third party
Yep.
outside auditor, a very well-respected person that runs UMass's facility.
Nice.
And he says this is the best facility he's ever seen in New England.
You're a little impartial to UMass, they heard a little,
But, again, and the only reason why I heard you say some things, and again, it's because we don't do a lot to advertise stuff that we do. You know, the fact that we run a regional hazardous waste day,
I have a question I'd like to
we
ask.
canceled for this year, by the way, and we should get that all in here.
Why don't you go to their meeting?
yeah. Yeah, is there anything more, because you can talk to them after online. If there's anything more that you need to bring in front of the board,
I wanna meet
let us
with
know.
you, and,
Alright.
you know, answer
Give
your
me my
questions.
info after the meeting ends. for sure.
Randy, you all set?
Yep.
Good. Well, if there's nothing further?
I move to adjourn.
Thanks, guys.
Second.
Brandon,
Motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, good night, everybody, thanks.
Good stuff.